It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast with special guest Nate Vallier. It's December the 6th, by the way, 2024, coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia. And it's bloody cold. It was 19 this morning, and when I went in to get my second cup of coffee, I saw some white crap on the yard. Not much, just a little white stuff. I figured a big bird came by and pooped on the yard. That must be it. It was 19 degrees though, and that sucks. All right, today's show, of course, is brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scoot Around, and by chilliescruises. All right, we got a whole bunch of stuff to do today, folks. It's gonna be a full show. First of all, let me run through the headlines real quick. Voyager of the Seas Homeports at Port Canaveral. NCL takes over Cruise Terminal B parking garage. A tech item added to a banned list. Carnival raises prices on cheers and internet again and doesn't tell anybody about it. Another outbreak on Ventura. Greece approves arrivals tax. Regal Princess Alters Itineraries. And swimming to a cruise ship. That's a cool story. The 2 airlifts from Carnival Ships. That and lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning on the Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. Today, folks, is National Gazpacho Day. Those of you that know, gazpacho is a soup that's served cold. It's like a vegetable soup that's cold, is the best way to describe it. I don't particularly like it, but I don't dislike it either. I think I'm not used to it. If I ate it more, I'd probably like it. I love vegetable soup. It's just that I'm used to it being hot. All right, this day in history, folks. Thomas Edison records his voice by reciting "Mary Had a Little Lamb" to test his invention of the phonograph. All right, if you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the fat travel guy. So we got a special guest this morning. He's been on the show hundreds of times now. It's all the time. He's my friend, my partner, my advisor. He's a little bit of everything. We got several things to talk about this morning. So without any further ado, Nate Vallier, welcome back to the Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. Good morning, Nate. Now, first of all, your visor, is that a visor? No, that's... okay, so Nate went to, let me see if I got a picture of this. Nate, tell us where you went this morning. First of all, you were in Lisbon.
Yeah.
Tell us what you did. I'm seeing if I can find the picture.
Well, we decided to go ahead and do the whole $50 shore excursion and use it on one of these, short tours of Lisbon, just to, go experience the town a little bit. We knew there was some construction and everything, so we booked it last night for $79. Less, we'll get our credits and other discounts, and it was kind of neat. So we ended up in Alfama, which is right outside the cruise ship port, and this is the old historic port, the old historic area of Lisbon. And before I made the trip, I just ran out of time to get my hair cut, or what hairs I have left, you guys can see. So I went to Barberia Oliveira, which is recommended by a friend who works for TAP Portugal, and found out the one I went to is actually the oldest barbershop in Lisbon from 1872. And
Now, do they cut hair with a machete or?
they
I mean,
could. I mean, they had the old style barber.
there we go, folks.
Meticulous. Yeah, it's no bigger than that. That's literally in the corner. You know, you've got these nice old style seats. There's two guys in there. One of them always speaks English, which, you know, the guy next to me is a German, and it was kind of interesting watching, you know, how he got his haircut. But they do a lot of Korean stuff. But it's literally a short walk from the port, and they take euro cash, 18 euro versus the ship is 59 plus gratuity. And so I just didn't want to spend that much money. But he said that they actually get a lot of the crew members in there. And so that means it's good. And he spent more time on my hair than my stylist and Juno. And if Kimberly from Skagway is watching, even more time than her. You know, I normally have her do all my stuff. But I've been in a barbershop since I was like expected it would be 2 minutes with a razor and, you know, and be done. But I think I was in there for a good half hour.
All right, you're on the transatlantic post. Excuse me, post dry dock transatlantic for the Encore.
Mm-hmm.
Talked a little bit about what you have seen as far as changes go, but you could talk a little bit more about that. What have you noticed is different about the Encore now as opposed?
I hate to say there's not much. I guess they had bad weather in Brest, so that caused a couple of delays. We were not able to get our own cabins, so we purposely booked in the 15100 section, which is a new area. I was told by everyone at Norwegian, my up said they'd be ready, no problem. Had a row of 15 cabins for all of us, which was fantastic. And then on October 11th, they pretty much put us in a snow globe and moved us all over the ship. So we lost that out. The observation lounge has been cut a little bit, but they kept most of the furniture. It looks like that's now on the starboard side. They did not add in a Starbucks like I was told they were. They want to make all the Breakaway Plus ships to have the same layout up front, which Joy has. So Joy has on one side a bar, and then on one side a Starbucks, like where the buffet area is. Right. And so it wasn't done. They did put a new carpet. Some of the construction, it's been noticeable, but you got to be looking for it. I will give Norwegian credit with that. You know, we do see workers on the ship. Here in Lisbon, you know, they had a bunch of containers out removing, you know, some, I don't want to say debris, but, you know, they did remove a lot from the ship this morning. There's a lot of stuff coming on. It looks like some welding equipment, some oxygen canisters and whatnot. There's new marble everywhere, which is nice. You know, the carpet looks good. You have that smell in certain areas. We can't really use the back half of the ship, but the weather's been crappy. So, you know, even if we had Spice H2O, nobody would be up there. American Diamond's closed. Again, I think that's mainly due to weather. Carts are closed. So hopefully we do get the new H2O experience, which is supposed to be an area with two hot tubs on two sides of the ship. And then in the middle, normally where you have like the TV on Escape, Getaway, Breakaway, and all the others, it's going to be like a water feature with like we're seeing on Prima, on the Prima class. So they'll have little beds with, you know, like ankle high water around it and stuff, and then there'll be a bar and a smoking area. So not really the grotto that we see on the other Breakaway Plus ships or like the water feature. So it's kind of been moved around, and I'm okay with that. Looks like to get there. I don't know if they're going to cut through Galaxy Quest, but that is closed, the Galaxy Pavilion. They did take out the skee ball and mini bowling from the local Croatians. To me, it's always going to be a chance. And then put a bunch of arcade rooms in there. We have 12 kids on the ship, so, you know, they're making use of it, you know, if we can actually see them. And Los Lobos is, in fact, closed, despite it showing up in our app. We did have some issues with that. I've you know, the food and beverage director, Praveen, I'll give him credit that he was mortified when I kind of approached him and said, hey, this is closed. We still have a reservation. It's in our app. Heaven forbid you get someone who doesn't know it's not there. How, he didn't know. He it was an interesting conversation until I showed him. And then, of course, he was mortified by it. So I think there's a real effort by Norwegian to try to do right by things in the middle of this. I know that they've been delayed with a lot of, the changes on the boat.
Right.
Cagney's, I haven't been on Norwegian in 2 years. I've been doing a lot of Carnival Corp. I've been doing a lot of Princess on America and other lines, celebrity, especially celebrity. So, I've seen a lot of changes on Norwegian that, well, we'll just leave it at that. I finally found a bartender who'll give me the rebellious fish. So I've asked for this. This is my favorite drink on Norwegian. It's vodka with prosecco, some kind of schnapps, and then a puree. But I guess they don't really stock it
anymore. And it's called what?
Rebellious fish.
Rebellious fish. Now, is there a fish swimming around in it? Like, the worms?
You get enough of these, and you'll be drunk. You'll be like a fish. But
okay.
It's a good drink. It's one that is kind of unique to Norwegian way back in the day when they had their drink of the day specials, and it's one of those unique things that made Norwegian. So we've done that. We found out the local closes now at 3:30, so you don't have to do that at 3:30 in the morning. Again, not trying to be Debbie Downer, but the product is changing, and we need to be ready for that. And I think that as a travel agent, this was a good trip. So I can tell people, hey, the buffet's now closed between 2 and 5. Whereas you're on MST and they'll feed you till midnight. So I think that it's important for people, especially if we cruise frequently. It doesn't hurt to try another brand every now and then just to, see what the other side's doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, now
I've had some challenges.
I got a question going back to your excursion this morning, because I did a similar excursion last week when I was on Epic.
Okay.
Only it was wheelchair accessible, which with the bus and all, which I thought was unbelievable because I don't rarely get a chance to do that. Was this excursion there in Lisbon accessible?
No.
Yeah. That's unfortunately what we hear.
No, I didn't see the buses. I did see in London though that they did put and that's a whole different topic. Our bus got in a wreck. Not with Norwegian, but Norwegian did save us. And so I did see them put someone in a wheelchair in a taxi versus a bus. No, Lisbon's not very handicap accessible. I mean, you would go nuts here on the cobblestone sidewalks in the streets. It's just not conducive for folks who are in powered chairs, unfortunately. Vigo was a little bit easier, but Lisbon, no. Lisbon, you're in the old town. So you would literally fall out of your chair, I think, just from crossing some of these streets.
Well, I don't know. I've done some old towns that are pretty rough, and I'll still do them. Just enough now to prove that I've been there.
And I appreciate you for opening my eyes, especially being up in Alaska and understanding the plight that not everyone in a wheelchair is one of these people. Coming from the airline business, we get a lot of jet bridge Jesuses where people just abuse it. For there's a lot of people that really do need the extra help and need flat surfaces. Lisbon is not your city. I did not see any handicap accessible buses. I'm pretty sure that they would accommodate, but everywhere we went is definitely not accessible. To be honest, we went to a monastery and then a church, and definitely not.
Okay, yeah, well, they a monastery was probably built up before there was any such thing as ADA.
Yeah.
And then there's not ADA over there anyway. So, well, but still, I'll get off the boat when I get there, and even if I can't get away from the pier, but I'll still get off the boat and do something. I have to take my picture there, if nothing else.
No, I mean, there's places for that, but
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not. I mean, when I even look around Juneau and Southeast Alaska, I mean, we're definitely a lot more handicap accessible than here.
Yeah. All right. So, Lisbon, you still have one more stop before you go across?
Hopefully, fingers crossed. I've never hit the Azores. Every time we try to cross the Atlantic, weather's bad and we miss
it. Weathered out. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully you'll get in there, and then maybe we can talk again. This was. Sure. I can't believe the signal is this good on T-Mobile. Tell everybody how we're doing this, Nate, because that's a bit of a story in itself.
Yeah. So you know, some of you may know my background. I came from the airline business, and we managed travel for a couple of airlines until COVID hit. Then we started doing leisure, and the CEO of one of the airlines I do work with had me come out to meet him in the Caribbean, but we hit a couple of different islands with him, and I'm thinking, oh, those will be fun. And I was just getting hit with all these charges, and so he told me, get T-Mobile because you get free data and texting internationally. And so I'm using my T-Mobile hotspot right now. We're getting pretty good speeds. I think I sent you a screenshot of it.
Yeah.
The ship Wi-Fi actually now blocks you, even if you use your 300 minutes for free. In the regular plan, you can't do any type of streaming at all. I can't even access like my Google password account because it's tied to YouTube. So they have that really locked down. So they want you to use the premium Wi-Fi. Yeah. Now that's been excellent. You know, I've used my friends. We've been able to hotspot, unlike MSC and Princess who blocks that. But you know, we've been using a hotspot. It's night and day compared to 5 years ago. But yeah, no, we're using T-Mobile.
When you're at home or in Florida, T-Mobile does fine.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't
like
me.
I have to look at T-Mobile.
Yeah, T-Mobile doesn't like me in Alaska, but as long as I'm traveling once a month and I use most of my calls down south, they're okay. But no, you get 5 gigs of data, and so far I think I've barely used one. So when I've been in port, I've just been tethering into my phone rather than using my minutes on Norwegian. With this ship, I haven't signed up to the premium Wi-Fi or unlimited. I've got a big group on board, and so some of those guys have they've got it. And what's interesting is you can actually piggyback off theirs. So if someone buys premium, you still have that 300 minutes you can use, which is 5 hours essentially.
Yeah.
I don't want to work. I mean, I know some of your viewers are on this cruise with me, and I've made it perfectly clear I'm here to have fun. It's like, you know, someone asked me for my card, and I didn't give it to them. It's like, you know, well, number one, that's unethical, but I'm here to have fun. I don't want to organize trips for people. I want to be part of the. I want to be the entertainment. You know, like you saw my Secret Santa, or not my Secret Santa, but and I'll be wearing this. James is going to laugh when he sees it. But this is actually what I'm wearing to the ugly sweater contest.
I think that's Nate the Stud.
6-pack abs. Yeah, I want to have fun. I don't want to be worried about everybody.
You have a 6-pack abs. It's this Jordan.
6-pack tiny.
Yeah, right.
And even James, I want to call it James from Illinois, who is the admin of our Facebook group at the Under People. He organized some of the solo meetings and get-togethers, and Jesus, we've got 1,200 solos on this thing.
Holy cow!
1,200 solos. The meetings are awful. It's like a meat market on Halstead. It's like everyone's trying to cram in there, and you can't fit in the venue. I know the guy's name is Jason. And that's it. I've just been running with my crew, which I know sounds weird, but I will give a shout out to James because he had a meet and mingle set up. I don't know if it was just Cruise Critic, Facebook, or both, but I did win a prize. So I do tell people, hey, go to these things because now, apparently, being from Alaska, I get to do a Northern Lights painting. And
cool.
At 11 o'clock in the morning, maybe I'll be a little bit lit. have some prosecco, and I do tell people go to these meetings.
I can't imagine Nate being lit. Yes, I can.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, go to these meetings. I mean, it's hard. Like tonight, we've got a solo meeting at 5:00 and 40 minutes. It's going to be packed, and it's hard to really meet people like that. I'm used to like 30 to 50 people, and you have 10
or 15 there, and then you got a nice little group.
Widowers over here, your guys looking for hookups over here, your gays over here, and Golden Girls over there. And no, this is just a big mishmash of everybody. I've seen every type of solo on board the ship, and I think it's great. I do wish Norwegian did let people know that, hey, this ship is coming out of dry dock. Not everything's going to be open. You had to lower your bar getting on this ship.
Right.
And boarding was a shit show. I can't say I can't say I've been on an easy boarding with Norwegian ever, to be honest. But we're outside waiting.
My last boarding with Epic may have been the easiest boarding I've ever done. From my car in the parking lot to walking on the ship was like 11 minutes.
You're in a wheelchair. You're supposed to take care of you.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that's pretty damn quick.
Yeah, no, it was a solid hour and 20 minutes. I kind of knew from watching a Facebook group and hearing from the rest of my team, my folks on the boat, that it was going to be a challenge, and I was okay for that. I mean, our best got in a wreck coming here, so I mean, everything's been okay. I'm not gonna badmouth Norwegian. If you watch JJ Cruises, I am the topic of a very heated issue right now. I could, as business changes, your expectations need to change as well. And I think that Norwegian's done a good job. If people ask for Norwegian, I'll still sell them, but I'm not gonna. I mean, for Alaska, my favorites. I know my favorite is a cruiser. We all do. The ship has been great. Jake from Choir of Man is here. They don't have him in the cavern, or the Cavern Club, like doing guitar lessons and stuff like they normally do. Like I said, entertainment's been great. Some of the serving sizes and Cagney's is smaller. They've taken out, like, I was surprised even onion rings are gone. And
they changed the menu quite a bit. I noticed that when I went to Cagney's last week.
As a travel agent, it's good to know this, because the cruise lines don't communicate this with anybody. When you have that expectation, like next to my cruise with Celebrity and I go to Long Club, I'm going to have an expectation based on previous use of the Long Club on Celebrity. And if they make changes to that, it's nice to know. So that way I know to dial down my expectations. And I think that's where the cruise lines really drop the ball with a lot of stuff. They don't make this information available to you. So when you come on board, it does cause a disappointment. And so that's why I said, I'm not going to badmouth Norwegian on your show. There's a lot of Norwegian loyalists. I have friends on board who've never cruised with Norwegian, and they're happy. I don't know if I cruise with them again, but I have heard my friends say, wow, like MSC does this better. And I never thought I would hear that from anybody.
Oh, yeah, I know. I've been hearing some people talking nicely about MSC, and that's so strange because they badmouthed them so many times for, what I consider nothing. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, because the product is always changing. So, keep an eye on it. Everyone kind of leapfrogs each other, and changes happen. But the ship has been good. They're going to continue construction until we get to Miami, I guess. Hopefully, I'll be able to talk to you from Miami with pictures of Spice H2O. And the carts, they're not doing anything with the carts. I think it's just an access area. And I think that's it. Like the Vibe Club is closed on this one, probably due to weather. The pool's heated, so they did get that fixed, thank God.
Oh, my.
Yeah, because I know that broke in Alaska this summer. So they did. So the pool is heated on the Encore.
Okay.
And the food's been all right. I can't complain. There's 2,400 of us on board, and we're having a good time. And half of them are sober. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Nate. Have fun. Have a great crossing. Drink some of that crazy fish drink.
Rebellious fish.
Rebellious fish. There we go. And I'll be talking to you in the next couple of days. Thanks, Nate. See
bye,
ya.
Chillie. Bye, guys.
All right. That's Nate Vallier. Of course, that's my partner, my friend, my everything. So, all right. I'll be back with a bunch of other stuff after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. Okay, so before I actually get to the news portions of the show, my son Jason was at a concert last night. And he looked over in the row behind him, or a couple rows behind him, and he saw this woman. Now, I know most of you never knew my mother. That looks like my mother, so much so that it gave Jason nightmares. And Amanda and I both, as soon as we saw it, I thought we were going to have a stroke. That's my mother at a concert in Kentucky. And it looks like she's there bitching. Excuse my French. She's bitching about something. That's the way my mother was. So anyway, let's see. What else do I have here? I got a bunch of other stuff here to go over with you too. Let me see what I got. Oh yeah, this is, oh no, that was the barber shop. This is Bethany. This is pretty cool. So Bethany Bartley is off on another one of her journeys. This is Azamara. And this is going to be something that's going to knock your socks off, folks. I actually started this in the wrong direction. But this is a Azamara journey. And that's a U.S. flag. I thought, and I have said many times, that the only U.S. flag ship is Pride of America. Norwegian ship in Hawaii. That's sure an American flag, folks, on the Azamara journey. Just point that out. If some of you know why, great. Let's see, what was that? Oh, that was Nate trying to get my attention. All right, so, this is Rochelle. Haven't seen Rochelle for a while. She's in Bora Bora. And that's her at a bar in Bora Bora. And of course, anytime you're in Tahiti or the South Pacific, I mean, it's just gorgeous stuff. Just gorgeous. All right, so I have to admit, folks, this is my friend Sylvia. And she is on the Celebrity Equinox. Will Power Shares is smart enough to put Sylvia as a model for the C2. And she always looks wonderful wherever she is as a brand ambassador for Will Power Chairs. She looks great. And then they make the dumb mistake of putting me in the same position, a big fat guy. And I'm supposed to look as good as she does. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. I love Sylvia to death. Anyway, so that's a few little bits and pieces to add into the show today. All right. So let's get started with some news. What do you say about that one? Let's see. What's our first story today? I've forgotten already. Oh, yeah. This comes out of Port Canaveral. Port Canaveral celebrated the arrival of Royal Caribbean's 3,600 passenger Voyager of the Seas, which will homeport there for the 2024-2025 winter season. The ship becomes Royal Caribbean's fourth ship to homeport there, joining Wonder of the Seas, Utopia of the Seas, and Adventure of the Seas. Port Canaveral saw more than 7.6 million passengers during fiscal 2024. Port Miami, which welcomed more than 8.2 million passengers in fiscal 2024, is growing, and with it, passengers need more parking. Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, which owns Norwegian Cruise Line, Oceania Cruises, and Regent Seven Seas Cruises, will take over Cruise Terminal B garage operations and maintenance, and announced it will also develop a new multi-purpose parking facility at Port Miami. The new multi-purpose park facility will boost parking capacity by adding a minimum of 2,000 additional parking spaces. Although a construction date has not been announced, Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings says the project will be complete by late 2028.
Cruise around the world with the Will Model C2. That's the chair that I use. Our chairs will easily fit through accessible cabin doors and can navigate those tight spaces and crowded places. To see if Will may be right for you, click on the link below to schedule a test drive. Just tell them to use code CHILLIE for all your mobility needs. That's scootaroundstore.com.
All right, so we do have a little information to go with the Scoot Around ad today. From now until, I believe it's until the end of the year, backed by popular demand, Will has extended the deal on free accessories and an extra year of warranty coverage until December 31st. Visit any authorized Will retailer or online store to purchase a Model C2, Model F, or Model R1, and then register your device at Will Incorporated by clicking the button below to get your free accessories. So, free accessories. It depends on which model you get as to what you can get from Will thrown in to help out. As a matter of fact, they now have a cup holder, phone holder for the Model C2. Well, I'm almost looking into buying that myself. I'm not going to buy a new chair just to get the cup holder, but I'll get the cup holder if it fits the C2. So, just saying. And that's good till the end of the year, folks. So, check them out. That's the chair that I use. Cruisers will no longer get away with a somewhat common hack to avoid paying to use the internet, at least not on Royal Caribbean sailings. Some techies within the cruise community don't like to set sail without packing their handy-dandy portable travel routers, which they use to stay connected during the voyage. Not only are the devices tiny and portable, but they can connect to the internet with just a data plan and a SIM card or eSIM card, depending on the router's compatibility. The routers are now banned by Royal Caribbean. Carnival offers 3 different Wi-Fi plans, social, value, and premium. Each one now has increased in price with no notice to book guests and no opportunity for travelers to lock in savings. The cost increases can quickly add up as each package has increased a minimum of 12% over previous pricing. Carnival Cruise Line also quietly hiked the price of its Cheers beverage program. The increase removes the lower daily rate that has previously been charged for longer sailings, and instead, all passengers will now be paying the higher per day price, no matter what length of the cruise they enjoy. As P&O Cruises faces a lawsuit from former passengers who claim its cleaning practices aren't up to par, it looks like it has another outbreak affecting passengers on a cruise off the coast of northern France near the Channel Islands. Passengers currently sailing on the cruise line's Ventura, which sailed on December 4th, claim there is a gastroenteritis outbreak aboard the ship. Standard protocols for cruise ships generally involved increasing the cleaning frequency in high-traffic public areas, isolating affected passengers, onboard announcements to encourage good hygiene and prompt reporting of symptoms, and modifying buffets to being crew served to help avoid the spread of bacteria. Cruise ships also perform deep cleanings between voyages to avoid the spread of the outbreak to the next group of passengers. This outbreak was reportedly announced by crew over loudspeakers. No news yet from the CDC concerning this ship. Effective in 2025, cruisers headed to the stunning Greek Isles will pay a fee to visit the islands of Santorini and Mykonos and other destinations in the country, now that the Greek Parliament has officially approved a proposed tax measure. The per-person tax to call at the two popular islands will be 20 euros or 21 US dollars, and 5 euros, that's $5.27 US dollars, at other destinations in Greece, such as Rhodes, Corfu, and Crete. Experience Alaska at an affordable rate. VR1 balconies are only $1,289, including taxes and port charges. MSC Poesia sails from Seattle, May 25th, 2026. Book now. Call 434-258-9264 or go to bit.ly/Poesia Alaska 1. Just days before the first impacted sailing, Princess Cruises has reached out to book guests on 4 upcoming voyages aboard Regal Princess about dramatically altered itineraries. The affected sailing are the ship's December 8th, January 5th, January 12th, January 19th departure dates. These are an 8, 2 7s, and a 10-night itinerary, respectively, all with Western Caribbean routes. The first 3 cruises have now canceled the planned visits to Costa Maya, and instead Regal Princess will remain in Roatan, Honduras for an extended overnight stay. On the January 19th sailing, the planned visit to Montego Bay, Jamaica is now canceled, and the overnight in Roatan is replacing that visit. The nature of the essential engine maintenance has not been disclosed, but it should be noted that other itineraries during the time period are not being changed. The ship's December 16th, December 22nd, December 29th departures are not yet adjusted, though such changes could still be forthcoming. A man didn't fall off or jump off a cruise ship, but rather leaped into the water to try to swim to a cruise ship. The incident began on Monday, December the 2nd, near Poema del Mar Aquarium, which is located on the opposite side of the port from where the cruise ships dock in Santa Catalina Quay, Las Palmas Cruise Port in Gran Canaria. Luckily, Good Samaritans called for help after seeing the man standing on a pontoon boat looking like he was about to jump. By the time police arrived, the man was already in the water and swimming toward the cruise ship. Only MSC Opera and Maria Discovery 2 were docked at the time, but the port can accommodate up to 4 cruise ships at once. It's unclear which vessel the unidentified man was trying to reach and what he intended to do once he got there. However, he never did reach the destination thanks to the quick intervention of police officers, although he did make it all the way to the busy intersection of the harbor between Pesquero and Santa Fe. Sorry, young man. Looks like you might be visiting a jail for a while. A medical emergency on Carnival Cruise Line's Carnival Jubilee forced the cruise ship to briefly turn back towards Galveston late Sunday. The U.S. Coast Guard Heartland later confirmed it coordinated the evacuation of a 64-year-old male experiencing appendicitis-like symptoms. Just days later, Carnival Pride also encountered a medical emergency off the coast of North Carolina requiring Coast Guard intervention. U.S. Coast Guard safely evacuated another male passenger and transported him to a local hospital where he underwent successful surgery. Congratulations once again to U.S. Coast Guards. Boy, they've been busy lately. If you have some mobility issues, we've got big discounts on some of our most popular rental locations for the fall and winter. Take advantage of these limited time promotions on scooter and wheelchair rentals nationwide. From Orlando or Las Vegas, 15% off until December 31st. From Phoenix, Los Angeles, Anaheim, New Orleans, Washington, D.C., and New York City, 10% off until December 31st. Call Scootaround toll free 888-441-7575 or reserve online. Use SRN 11137 for the top rates. And that's going to put a an end to the news portion of today's show. Again, my thanks to Nate Vallier of bookayt.net for joining us today and sharing a little wisdom about Lisbon and about the Norwegian Encore. All right, so let's jump over and see who's fussing at me in the chat room today. We got a couple people from Next. We're in here early. True Love says, hello, dear. That's always very skeptical. Angie Verona, hi, handsome. So is that. How are you doing today? I'm doing fine. You have found your way to a travel and cruise industry news show. Chell says, hello. Yeah, these are, look to me like they're all sex bombers. January is with us. Says hi. There's Mike. Mike's here from the other side of the pond. Good morning, Mike. Roger says, hey, from Jacksonville. Gary Older Than Dirt's with us. He's down there in Florida. We got Joanne popping in. Hope you're feeling better, Chillie. Oh, yeah, I definitely am. I still might cough occasionally, but, yeah, not like it was. And I'm feeling fine now. So, having the extra time off. And quite frankly, yesterday, I did nothing all day, day or night. I didn't lift a finger of doing, I did stuff, personal stuff, but no work stuff at all yesterday. So that helped, just not having anything on my plate. So that was good. Katie's with us. Says, good morning, everybody. There's Steve out in Kentucky. Good morning, Chillie and everyone. Roger says, Encore and feedback. Sorry about that. Bob says, have a great weekend all. Stay warm. Yes, indeed. Todd's with us. Says, good morning, everyone. Mike says, hop on, hop off a bus in Lisbon is wheelchair accessible. Driver secures ramp at mid-bus door and scooter wheelchair space is just inside the door. I've been on a bus like that where was I? That was in Cartagena, Colombia. I did a hop on, hop off tour of Old Town Cartagena. I did it on all of Cartagena, but it took us to Old Town Cartagena, and I actually did the tour of the town and then got back on the hop on, hop off tour. So that was really cool. So yeah, I'm familiar when hop on, hop off has that particular model of bus. That's excellent. Roger says, I know a terrific museum in Lisbon. Maybe we can split a handicapped taxi or an Uber ride. Sounds good to me, Roger. And I love going to museums. So that would be awesome. Gulbenkian Museum. Don't try to pronounce it, Charles. Okay. I won't. Todd says, great segment with Nate. Very informative. Thank you very much, Todd. Appreciate it. Of course, I enjoy having Nate on. I'm glad he's actually on a cruise and enjoying the cruise. Both of us are taking strides now to be able to do that. Quite frankly, I'm looking forward to a cruise where I've got the more free time. That's going to be a nice change for me because I stay so busy on cruises, I never enjoy them. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the new schedule when we leave on New Year's Eve. Hot Air Tom and I are leaving on New Year's Eve, leaving Cindy at home, and I have to play Hot Air Tom's wife for 3 months or 4 months, or I don't know. Seems like forever. So, anyway, that's coming up the first of the year. All right. That's going to wrap up today's show, folks. By the way, smash that thumbs up button. That'll help the channel out a lot. And also, please take this as my invitation to join us. Subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. That'll help the channel out a bunch also. So that's going to wrap it up for the week. Again, I will monitor things over the weekend. If anything major happens, I can pop on and do a pop on, pop off live stream just as well as we could do a hop on, hop off in Lisbon. So that's going to wrap it up for today, folks, and for the week. As always, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising. Hopefully, one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Again, thanks, Nate Vallier, for joining me today. Everybody have a great Friday and a fabulous weekend. I'll see you Monday, if not before then. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.